It's been a great year for Legends of Runeterra, and I mean a really good year. Riot hit the ground running with a fun, intuitive, and engaging card game that's been leaving fans wanting more. Upon its release, people had their fair share of doubts and really didn't know what to expect out of a new card game in town already saturated with its own kind. However, it's safe to say that all this was quickly forgotten as everyone just started having a good time and waited patiently for the new updates. Well, that wait for additional content is over with good old Bandle City just peeking beyond the horizon. With the first out of 4 expansions out this August, it's time to shuffle your decks and safeguard your Nexus. No trap cards here, just a whole lot of hype. The Beyond the Bandlewood expansion features the final region of the core Legends of Runeterra card pool, Bandle City, and there's a lot to be excited for. If your current deck needs a bit of spice and a more powerful punch or a bit more flexibility depending on your playstyle, you'll soon have a bunch of new cards to choose from. 2 new subtypes, Yordle and Fae, are looking to shake things up between rounds and add a little bit of fun to the game's pacing. With cards like Karina, Mastermind, you can basically booby trap the top of your opponent's deck, which of course is a lot of fun for you. Bandle Painter grants you an additional card and a multi-regional follower, which you'll find very useful in this expansion's new mechanics. At the end of the day, it's all about having fun, even if that means torturing your opponent with Yordle tactics. So you're probably wondering about the multi-regional mechanic I mentioned a while ago. Well, buckle up, we're gonna go on a road trip. Bandle City focuses on playing multi-region cards, which means you now have the privilege of choosing from either one region or another when choosing cards to beef up your deck. The single region cards determine your deck's region, so if you start with a multi-region champion, you'll need to add another card of one of your champion factions. Fizz plus Zap Sprayfin equals Bilgewater deck, even though Fizz is, well, a Yordle. Want to go mono Bilgewater? No problem, Fizz can stay put. But if you want to add Lulu to the mix, you'll need a Bandle City or an Ionia card as a second region. This could get a bit confusing at first, but this definitely opens up the opportunity for new combos and playstyles. Just imagine all the Piltover and Zon cards you can play with Teemo. Players have been clamoring for new champions all year long, and Riot has delivered. Beyond the Bandlewood brings us 9 new champions that fit perfectly into this expansion's new mechanics. No matter what your playstyle is, you'll have a champ you can depend on. Poppy is all about supporting and buffing allies with the ability to re-trigger the effect multiple times depending on the Demancian cards you have in your deck. Caitlyn's core mechanics introduce a unique quick attack that inflicts damage by planting flash bomb traps into your opponent's deck. And not to mention, it's got some great art. Veigar plays just about the same way he does in League of Legends. He stacks damage and he stacks it high. He's always been about the late game. Senna focuses on utilizing control, kill, and damage spells powered by keywords, and she's just as deadly as you remember. Tristana lives up to her title as a fearless Yordle leader as her attack grows the more multi-region allies you summon, which is just perfect for this expansion. Sion, our favorite reanimated Corpse King, makes the most out of Unlife, buffing allies whenever he's discarded, and he can even come back when he's killed, just like in the game. Nami brings the complete support package and then some with mana regen and the ability to buff allies every time she casts spells. Zeroth makes very good use of his mysterious obelisks of power, granting buffs to both himself and his allies each time the obelisks are destroyed. Ziggs has a similar playstyle when it comes to utilizing landmarks and having said landmarks destroyed. Only this time, there aren't any buffs, my friend. Only death and destruction. Via explosion. If you've been playing Legends of Runeterra long enough, you know how important keywords are. These effects can easily turn the tables in a match. Whether you're silencing, stunning, or immobilizing your opponents into submission, Beyond the Bandlewood gives you a few more options to help you in your conquest for power. There are a total of 4 new keywords introduced in this expansion, and here's a quick look at each one. Impact. Impact inflicts direct damage to the Nexus and looks to be pretty deadly if you have several units that have this keyword. This is nice because attacking life points directly has always been proven effective. Manifest. Manifest grants 3 randomly selected cards of a certain type. You could choose one of 3 options and theoretically get 3 more options to choose from. Just don't expect to draw 18 cards all at once. Wouldn't want to be greedy. Prank. Prank is far from harmless as it applies a debuff to a card in the opponent's deck. It's basically the bizarro version of Lucky Find. So far, it comes in the form of granting -2 power and -1 power coupled with can't block. Prank? More like a crime if you ask me. Lastly, Darkness is Vigor and Senna's bread and butter, effectively augmenting their skills, boosting their damage and employing control spells such as they slow things down to a grinding halt. Or until your opponent rage quits. Now, I admit, that's a lot of content to unpack, and this is pretty much expected for each region and expansion introduced so far. The Legends of Runeterra roadmap has stayed its course, and we're looking at a December release for Bandle City's second expansion, Magical Misadventures. The period in between releases is fair enough in giving ample time to both players and developers to tinker and experiment with the new mechanics, making sure this game that started out strong stays as fun and enjoyable as it has been in the past year.
Demacia sends its regards.
There you have it, a few things you should know before taking a dive into Legends of Runeterra's new expansion, Beyond the Bandlewood. Personally, I'm pretty stoked to see what else they'll be cooking up in the following months. Are you planning to go mono or dual region for your deck? Drop a comment and tell us below. Again guys, I am Nicey with Ungeek. Now, if you'll excuse me, Bandle City's calling me.